Well, welcome to Alaska. I've had a lot of questions on my tent. So I use this tent for winter camping. I have different tents for different reasons, but I use this one for winter camping. This is a 10 by 10 Arctic oven tent, so I thought I'd just do a quick little tour of it, just to answer hopefully most of the questions that come my way. And so the tent itself, so again, this is a 10 by 10 tent, has a vent. So the vent system is pretty cool. It's got a vent here. It's got a vent there. It goes into the tent. And let's look at the, and then there's a vent on the back up there. And we'll look at that in just a second. That vent is a sock like this vent, and it plugs into the vestibule vent, and so it goes directly outside. We'll take a peek at that in just a second. The fabric on this tent is very porous. It's meant to wick moisture out of your tent, and so it's super breathable. Any moisture that gets in your tent gets kind of taken through that and ends up on the vestibule, and then the vestibule overnight ends up getting lots of frost on it, but better that than in your tent, so your tent stays nice and dry. This tent right now, I have 2 gear lofts in it, which are super nice. They're accessories. You can hang your gear there. Anything that gets wet, you can hang on that so it dries out. In the morning, I like to put all my gear up there when I have the stove going and warm everything up so it's toasty warm. I have a stove in here that I made, and I have a couple videos on that you can look at if you're interested in stoves. But let's finish this little tent tour here. So you can see that it's reinforced on the sides. It's got a pull kit that holds this up, and this one has a cover over it, a rain fly that has a vestibule on it. The vestibule has its own quick little setup here. Let's look at it this way here. So it all comes together up there. You can buy this tent with or without the vestibule, so you get a rain fly on it, but you can get the vestibule or not. I'm a big fan of vestibules just because it's somewhere you can put your gear, stuff that you want to keep safe, not get dirty, keep out of the rain maybe. And so let's look at this back vent, which is pretty cool. It's got a back window on it. Let's see, this goes, you can see the interior one and the exterior one, and then it goes directly into the tent. The super nice thing about that I think is super interesting is when you open up your stove and you stoke your stove, you're going to get smoke inside your tent. And the thing about that, so we're back to the inside here, the thing about that is this one is low and that one is high, and so what you can't really feel it so much, but cold air comes in here, hot air goes out there, so it evacuates the smoke out of your tent. Super cool. And so this one is set with a 4-inch stovepipe in it, and you can see it's got a fire retardant material, a rubber thing that your stovepipe goes through. In addition to the gear lofts there, I have a floor saver in here. I bought a I don't know what you call it, but it's fire retardant that goes in front of your stove, because if an ember pops out there, you don't want it to burn a hole in your floor. And then I also got, and they sell these, this is a super heavy duty rubberized footprint, so you can put it down. It keeps moisture from coming up through your tent. So if you're setting up on snow that's kind of soft and you'll sink into it, that kind of gives a little bit of footprint to it so that your weight is dispersed a little bit and you don't sink in as much. This snow that I'm on right now, I drove my snow machine over it several times and packed it down, but you still step into it. And so last little bit, last night we spent 2 nights here and been very comfortable. At times the tent was so hot that you had to open up vents to get it out. We've been here for the beginning of the Iditarod. This is mile 11 on the Iditarod. That's a different video. So we're going to put this away. If you're looking at a tent for winter camping, I would say I enjoy this tent. So happy camping.